Good morning, everyone. That's the time that I can wait for the others to join. Thanks for being here. Let's start, shall we? Thank you, Veronica. Perfect. So Veronica set the example. The ones that are able to turn your cameras on. Remember that the attendance is according to that, right? Be careful with the attendance, the percentage of your attendance. Yesterday, before we start, I want to show to you my report on Alticia. Remember that these course, starting on this module, what we have is percentage. So coordination, what they are going to ask is the percentage of completion. What it means, let me work on you with the following. Sorry, 1 minute. An example. What I have, what I see, what I observed in here. Let me take as an example Manuel Espinosa. Manuel Espinosa gets 17 hours, right? So when I check here on his report, let's take a look. Let's see if that one appears. Let me try it again. For me, normally when I click on here, you get a percentage that shows to me. Yep. Let's wait, and as we advance the days in the class, let's see if it's possible for me to observe. It's not appearing for the moment, but once again, what I want is just you to be super alert on Alticia. Remember that Alticia is 2 points of your final score. Okay. Here is what appears for me. Pay attention is to the percentage, not to the hours. Okay, to the percentage. For the moment, it's not working for me, that report. So later on during the class, I'm going to try to show to you so we can work on the percentages. Yesterday, you helped me out on 7A workbook. Yeah, the unit 7A, we worked on the first conditional. You got some pronunciation related to the vowel U. And last class, yesterday, you helped me out in the last activity, working on the activities of 7A Extraordinary School for Boys workbook. So I'm going through them. And remember, at any time that you need any assistance with the activity, let me know. So let's take a look. The first one, I get 13 attempts, perfect. So let's take one. I'm gonna work on Miss Macia's attempt. And on this one was complete the sentences with the correct word. Yeah, they are given to you a couple of letters for you to have an idea about the word to complete. Number one, a school for children aged from about 2 to 5 is a nursery school. Yeah. Sometimes we translate it like guarderia or maternal. Here nowadays in the schools, they have this section that they call it maternal. When the kids are about from 2 to 5, we're talking about preschool. Yeah. Number 2, a school for children from 5 to 11 is primary school. Yeah. Number 3, a school for children from 11 to 18, it's a secondary school. So that is the similar, the distribution in the educational system like the ones that we get in here, which means like here in Ecuador, when we describe or we talk about our education, we can mention, right, elementary school or primary school and secondary school. Yeah. For the ones that study elementary school in one place and secondary school in another place. Number 4, the person in charge of the school is the head teacher. Head teachers. And here we have the figure of director. Yeah. So head teacher is another form to refer to this person, right? 5, a school paid by the government is a state school. Sometimes you can use also the word public school. And 6, a school that parents pay for is a private school. Yeah, private school. When you help me out with the activity about the school, some of you actually, well, most of you actually refer to this part of the question like you studied in a private institution. Okay, a person who has a degree from a university is a graduate. This word, sometimes we use it for everything, for all the levels of education, graduate. But in the American context, in the British context, what you use it for is when you finish university. Yeah, that's why obviously when you look for information of international universities, it's extremely possible that maybe you find out undergraduate programs. Yeah, as you are taking the program, you're undergraduate. Once you finish university, some of you are very close to that, graduate student. Yep. This section was in the UK, in the United Kingdom. Okay. Now we have another section in the same activity that was in the USA. Remember that we are checking all the activities of the workbook. We started on 1A, complete the sentences with the correct word, vocabulary. A school for children from about 2 to 6 is kindergarten. There you have the comparison, right? In UK, we call it nursery, but here is kindergarten. This word is maybe way more familiar for all of us, kindergarten. And then another change. In the United States, you don't call it primary school, you call it elementary. Yep, elementary school is the same idea, obviously. We refer to the same idea. Just a matter of the differences of the vocabulary between United Kingdom and United States of America. Yep. A school for children age from 9 to 13, middle school. A school for children age 13 to 18, high school. In the United States, in the educational system, they normally made that difference. Yep. So you have middle school and you have high school. Just to have a separation between the ages. Yep. So up to 13, middle, and then you get 13 to 18, high school. And in the United Kingdom, actually, you see that is a full set. From 11 to 18, secondary and period. 12, the class children is called a grade. Yeah, grade. One class is called a grade. The school year is divided into 2 semesters. They have this way of dividing the year that most of the times it's incorporated by the universities here. Yeah, depending the university, you have semesters or you have cycles. That is up to the institution. Yeah, we have several forms in that way. And finally, the final year of a school is the 12th grade. Now, remember, we cover 1A, okay? At any problem that you have with any of the activities, let me know, okay? So I can make the corrections. After 1A, go back to the platform and let's continue. 1B, we are in the section of vocabulary. 1B, complete the sentences. I got 13 attempts, excellent. So let's use Mr. Guillen's attempt. And here we have it. My friend was so ill, right? She didn't take the exam. Take the exam, right? Some of the girls in the class behave very badly. Behave, comportarse. Yep. Number 3, if you cheat in the exam, the teacher won't mark it. Cheat, ser trampa. Yep. Ser deshonesto. 4, a boy was expelled for stealing money. Expulsado, expelled. 5, you'll fail your exams if you don't work harder. In this one, in this sentence in particular, number 5, we have an example of the first conditional that is part of the grammar for the unit, right? You'll, U apostrophe double L, contraction of will, you'll fail. Number 6, I've got my driving test tomorrow. I hope I pass. Aprobar, pass. I've got exam, number 7, next week. So I'm going to revise this weekend. Revise is a synonym to study. Yep, to check some material. The pupils were punished by the teacher. Punish is some sort of a consequence if you do not behave right. So remember, I am on 1B. As we are advancing through the activities, let me know if you have some observations on it, okay? After 1B, let's take a look. We finished the section of vocabulary related to education. And now we go to the pronunciation activities, the letter U. Remember that in this unit, they continue with the different sounds of the vowels, sometimes alone, sometimes with other letters, and in some cases, it's only the sound itself, not even appear the letter in the word. So let's take a look at activity 2A. I got here 12 attempts. So let me just set this one also in English. And there we have it. So I got 12 attempts in this one. Manuel, you don't have any attempt on this activity. Appears on my record like that, but please check if there is any mistake. The activity is 2A. Yep, just check. So this activity 2A, let's take Ms. Fierro's attempt. And we have this. Once again, in here, you have 4 columns. So in those columns, what you get is the different sounds made by these combination of letters, right? You have U, like in the word lunch, but the sound is not like the U in Spanish, right? We don't go like lunch, right? That's crazy. So you got lunch, but then you get what? Fruit. Lunch, fruit, scooter, true. Then you got couple, muzzle, owl, tone. Then you have cut. Yeah. So those sounds are the ones that we are looking for, what we need to be or to pay a special attention. Once again, what they are telling us is that the vowels, the letters, the combinations of letters in English, they do not only have one sound. You're going to have different sounds according to the combination of them. Yep. And in the part of the combination, sometimes you can learn some words by the combination of letters, but in others, it's just a matter of practice, of speaking, of using them, and then you realize how different they are. Yep. Remember that in here in the columns are the ones with the different sound, right? That was the instruction. Choose the word with a different sound. So you got, for example, in the last column, number 4, you got musical, musical, right? Stupid, well, stupid and tuna, right? And the other is subtitle. So that's why, okay? So looking for the different one. I continue. Remember, I'm checking your activities from yesterday on. But at any problem, any issue, let me know. In the section number 3 of the workbook, we got to the time clauses plus when or until. Yep, so let's take a look. Match the sentences halves. 13 attempts, perfect. So in here, let's take Ms. Brooke's attempt as an example. And this is what we get, right? You get sentences numbered from 1 to 8, and then you have the other half from A to H. Yeah. So for example, number 1, Will's parents will be furious if he fails his exam again. Yep. So once again, what is the structure that they are practicing in here? Matching the haves. They are practicing the first conditional. Yeah, Will's parents will be. Here you have it. Will be furious. The other part, if he fails, present simple. If he fails. Then we go with, as soon as I get my driving license, number 2, as soon as I get my driving license, I'm going to buy a car. Number 3, I'm sure it will feel more relaxed. I am sure it will feel more relaxed after we go on holiday. So after the vacation, you will feel relaxed. Yep, that's what they refer to. Number 4, you'll have to go to a new school when your family moves house. When your family moves house, you'll have to go to a new school. Again, here you have the contraction, right? You will, you'll. And the other part, the second part to complete, family moves. There you have present simple. We continue. Number 5, he won't pass his exams unless he revises more. And here is the incorporation of a new word. We cover all the examples of the first conditional with the word if, but it's not the only option. Here you have another. Yep. So what I want you to have it clear, not only the word if is an indicator that you are using conditional. You can have also this one, unless, right? A menos que, unless. Number 6, Nina won't look for a job until her daughter starts school. Number 6, Nina won't. Here you have, obviously, the part of the future, will not, won't. And you complement it with this one, where we have another word, until, hasta que. There you have another word that is possible to be used in the conditional structure. So we have if, unless, until. Yeah, for the moment from the examples. 7, I'll buy the book before the class starts. I will. The other, before the classes start. That is present simple. Number 8, if I don't feel well, I'll stay in bed. So there you have the matching. You have the first conditional as part of the practice. New words, unless, after, until. Not only if. So once again, my recommendation, when you see a sentence like that and you don't see the clause if, doesn't mean that it's not a conditional. You have other options to use, yeah, just in case. Next activity in this section, we are in the section 3, that is grammar. 3B, complete the sentences with a word from the box. Here, I'm gonna make the correction. From the box. 13 attempts, perfect. And let's take Christopher's example, yeah? So on this one, complete the sentences with a word from the box. And the words that are that were able for you, before, after, if, when, unless, and until. Yep. Number 1, they'll have to wear a uniform when they go to secondary school. They'll have to wear a uniform when they got to secondary school. Number 2, I won't leave early unless the teacher gives me permission. I won't leave early unless, a menos que, unless the teacher gives me permission. Number 3, Ella will be disappointed if she doesn't get good marks. By mark, remember that is similar to grade to qualifications. Yep. 4, I'll have a long holiday after the course finishes. I'll have a long holiday after the course finishes. 5, the teacher won't start the class until all the pupils are quiet. The teacher won't start the class until, hasta que, all the pupils are quiet. And the last one, number 6, I'll talk to my teachers before I choose my exam subjects. Okay, antes de. So there you have 3B. Let's continue. In the same section, we got 3C. I got 13 attempts, very good. And let me take a look. Let's work with Miss Asunción's attempt. Yep, let's take a look at what is it. We are checking activities from the unit 7-8, but in the part of the workbook that yesterday you helped me out working on that. Yep. So we are on 3C. In here, complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs in brackets. Use the present simple or future will. So the conditional, right? I will do my homework as soon as I get home. I will do my homework as soon as I get home. 2, we will be late unless we hurry up. 3, my friends will have a leaving party before they go abroad. To go abroad, salir, irse al extranjero. Yep, to go abroad. Number 4, the bus won't wait for you if you aren't on time. 5, if the teacher doesn't come, we won't have the exam. 6, James won't leave home until he finds a job. 7, Alice won't be able to buy a car unless her parents lend her the money. 8, as soon as my boyfriend gets his results, he will call me. 9, she won't start primary school until she is 5 years old. And 10, you will play better if you practice every day. So what to remember? In the first conditional, you have these 2 parts. Yeah. One that is related to one event that happens before or the condition, and the other, the result. In the part of the condition is where you find the words if, unless, as soon as. Yep. There we're gonna have present simple. And the other, when is the result, when is the consequence, you will use will. So there we go, 3C. Let's continue on reading. Yep. For reading, we have activity 4A. I get only 12 attempts on 4A. Yep, let me see. This one is only a reminder, right? So you know that there is missing activities. In this one, we are missing Miss Fierro's attempt, okay? The activity for A, read the article once. What do South Korean pupils do in a Halloween? So let's take Miss Bella's attempt. And let's take a look. This one was related, of course, to the article. Read the article once. What do South Korean pupils do in a Halloween? So when is it time to stop studying? This one, yeah, let me see it if we get it here. This one. It was related, obviously, part of the workbook of this unit. And the big question is, when is it time to stop studying? It's 10 p.m. and 6 government employees are out checking the streets of Seoul, South Korea. But these are not police officers looking for teenagers who are behaving badly. Their mission is to find children who are still studying and stop them. Imagine that. Education in South Korea is very competitive. The aim of almost every school child is to get into one of the country's top universities. Only the pupils with the best marks get a place. The school day starts at 8 a.m. and pupils finish studying somewhere between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. at night. This is because many go to private academies called Hawons after schools. Around 74% of all pupils attend a Hawon after the regular classes finish. A year's course costs on average $2,600 per pupil. In Seoul, there are more private tutors than school teachers, and the most popular ones make millions of dollars a year from online and in-person classes. Most parents relied on private tutoring to get their children into university. With so much time spent in the classroom, all that pupils at South Korea's secondary schools do is study and sleep. Some of them are so exhausted that they cannot stay awake the next day at school. It is a common sight to see a teacher explaining the lesson while a third of the pupils are asleep under a desk. The teachers don't seem to mind. There are even special pillows for sale that feed over the arms of the chairs to make sleeping in class more comfortable. Ironically, the pupils spend the lesson sleeping so that they can stay up late studying that night. The South Korean government has been aware of the faults in the system for some time, but now they have passed some reforms. Today, school teachers and head teachers in state schools have to meet certain standards or do additional training. However, the biggest challenge for the government is the Hawons. The Hawons have been banned from having classes after 10 p.m., which is why there are street patrols looking for children who are studying after that time. If they find some in class, the owner of the Hawon is punished, and the pupils are sent home. It's a strange world where some children have to be told to stop studying while others are reluctant to start. So this is the article that you got in here. Yep. And the question was only, what do South Korean pupils do in a Hawon? Yep. That was the only question for the whole article. There you have it. This is activity 4A. Let's continue. Let's see what else. Until now, we got most of the attempts, 12 or 13. So excellent up to that part. Activity 4B. I got only 12 attempts. Let me see the one that is missing. On this one, Miss Fierro again. Okay. So let's take Miss Calderon's attempt just to check the activity. Read the article, the one that I just read, mark the sentences true or false. Every academy must class before 9 p.m. False. The street patrol in Seoul is looking for criminals. False. Most pupils in South Korea want to go to university. True. Today, pupils need higher marks to go to university. True. The government is doing nothing to improve the education system. False. School teachers are used to pupils who sleep in class. True. Right? Are used to, acostumbrados, in this part, are used to. That is true. The students are punished if they are found in a Hawon. False. No, they are not punished. They are just sent they are asked to be or to go to their home, right? And all private tutors are paid well. False. Not all private tutors are paid well. Okay, there you have for V. Let's see what else. For D, complete the sentences with one of the words or phrases from the text. And in here, 12 attempts. Let me see. There you have Miss Fierro missing this one as well. Let me work on Edmundo's attempt. Here are the words or phrases to complete with, right? Common side. This one is supposed to be competitive, reluctant, tutors, challenge, and pillows. Number one, it's a real challenge, un verdadero desafío o reto. Number two, John has hurt his neck, so he shouldn't use two pillows in bed. It's very competitive to get into some universities. My children are reluctant when you don't want to do something. Yeah. People using their laptops on the bus is a common sight. Yeah. Something common to be observed. Mary needed extra help with math and history, so he has private tutors. She has private tutors. Okay. There we have it for the. With that activity, we finish the section of reading. And we get to the last section, that is listening. 5A, listen to a radio program. I got perfect. I got the 13 attempts. Yep. Perfect score on that one. Okay, so Karen is working on it. Not a problem, of course. Let's see Giancarlo's work. So you got the track, listen to a radio program about a new TV series, which were described the methods used by a teacher in the series. The answer is that the methods are unusual, okay? Only one question, one word for the answer. And finally, in this section, we got 5B. 12 attempts as well. See, Miss Fierro, the one missing. And the attempt, and I'm gonna use Miss Velez. And there you have it. Listen about a TV series and correct the mistakes. So the pupils are 16. The correct answer, 14. It's in bold, right? It's in a different color, darker. The word that we have to change. A boy says he'll burn a car. Building is the correct one. The teacher used to be a soldier. The teacher used to be a rock musician. And like that, all the corrections that you have to perform on this one. With that, you get up to 7A. Yep. Let me make it visible for you. Section 7B. Let's see. Let's check what we have to open to make it visible. It's a second to open all the activities for you. Okay, pronunciation. Let me open vocabulary. This one's the others are closed. Well, those I'm gonna be working on and opening them as we work and we get to that point. Yep. So there we have. In this unit, we are going to start with another conditional, the second one we're gonna refer to now. For that one, let's observe a video, and then you're gonna help me with one activity related to the grammar. Okay, so let's observe the video first. In here, the video is making the comparison, like the last unit 7, we worked on the first conditional, and this one, unit 8, we're starting on the second conditional. The video is about that, to make the comparison, the structures, and when to use each one of them. Okay, so let's take a look at it.
Mister, the audio is not here.
Excuse me, could you repeat?
The audio is not here.
Let me do it again.
Here at
What about now?
English. We're going to continue exploring conditionals, which are one of the most interesting and
Now you can listen to it.
Yes,
teacher.
exciting grammar
Thank you.
structures in English. I think so. This video today is going to help you to expand your understanding of the first and the second conditionals in English. I think you already know the basics, especially if you're a subscriber, because you would have seen all of my lessons about conditionals. All of the links are in the description below. But today we're going to go a little deeper on the first and the second conditional. I'm going to give you lots of examples to help you understand when to use the first and when to use the second. Plus, I'll also be talking about how to use conditionals without if, which is pretty shocking, I know, because if is the star of conditional sentences, you know, but actually you can use other words in place of if as well. So I'm going to go through all of that right here during this lesson. Okay, let's do a quick check together before we get started. You know there are 5 different types of conditional sentences. You know that the basic form of all of these sentences is the same, right? We have an if clause and a main clause. And the things that are different about these 5 types of conditional sentences relate to time and also to verb tense. Now, if you don't know any of these things, don't worry about it, but I do recommend that you check out this lesson up here. It's an overview of conditional sentences. It might help to jog your memory and get you thinking correctly about conditional sentences before we get started here. So I want you to tell me, what's the difference between the first conditional and the second conditional? So the best way to think about it is the first conditional is real. We use it to talk about things that are possible in the future, and there's a likely chance of it happening. So to make the first conditional, it's simple. We use the present simple verb in our if clause, and we use the future tense will in our main clause. So we use will along with a bare infinitive verb. If I miss the bus, I will take a taxi. If they lose the game, they won't go to the finals. If you get too close to the flames, you'll get burned. So notice that with all of these examples, these are real, they are possible, and they're likely to happen in the future. Now, when we move to the second conditional, we actually have to leave the real world, the actual world behind us. Because although there is a possibility of the result happening, when we use the second conditional, it tells us that the action is quite unlikely. So it's often called the unreal tense. So we use the second conditional to talk about imaginary situations in the present. So these are unreal situations. But we also use it to talk about unlikely future outcomes as well. So it looks like if and the past simple in our if clause, and then would with the bare infinitive verb following in our...
Here you have the main part related to the structure itself, right? She's mentioning also the uses. As we know, the first conditional is more realistic. Yeah. So something that actually could happen, then you use the first conditional. The second one is for a little lower possibility of occurrence. But in here, in the part of if, what we are going to use, the tense that we are going to use is past simple. And then on the complement, on the consequence, on the result, what you are going to use is would. For the first conditional, we get present simple and future will. In here you have past simple and would. That is a condition in itself.
Our main clause. If I missed the bus, I would take a taxi. If they lost the game, they wouldn't go to the finals. If you got too close to the flames, you'd get burned. Wait a second. These examples look pretty similar to the first conditional examples, right? So with just a couple of little edits, we have subtly changed these results to seem less likely. Suddenly, we've got a set of hypothetical or imaginary situations and their results, but those results are unlikely to actually happen, right? Such is the second conditional. Many ideas can be correctly expressed in English using both the first and the second conditional sentence structure. But each type of sentence changes the meaning noticeably. So you really need to be careful about which type of sentence structure you're using. You've got to carefully choose. So let's look at a couple of examples to help you out. So we've got, if I miss the bus, I will take a taxi. If I missed the bus, I would take a taxi. Now, in the first example, this is real and possible. It's based on an actual situation. Just imagine that you are walking down the street quite quickly towards the bus stop because it's actually the exact time that the bus is supposed to arrive. And there is a chance it's pulling up at the bus stop right now. You're hoping that it's not because you're going to be late otherwise, right? You still want to make it to work on time. But in your head, as you're walking, you're coming up with a backup plan, right? A plan B. Here's what you're going to do. If I miss the bus, I will take a taxi. So this situation is based on a real life scenario, right? Something that is likely to happen. There's a good chance that that bus has already come to the bus stop and you're not there. But the second example in the second conditional, totally imaginary. Maybe I've got no plans at all to take the bus. Maybe I don't even take the bus to work. Or perhaps I'm extremely punctual. I'm almost never late to the bus. But for whatever reason, this thing, the outcome is very unlikely to happen. And we know that because we're using the second conditional. So you can see how powerful this decision is, right? The grammar structure that you choose influences the meaning of your sentence. Let's do a few more examples together just to make sure you've got it. If I run out of butter, I'll just use oil. So again, imagine. Imagine that you're baking and there isn't much butter left. You can't be bothered going to the shops, so I've got a plan. If I run out of butter, I know what I'm going to do. And this is a likely event, right? If I ran out of butter, I just use oil. Now, this is a hypothetical situation. I'm not talking about a specific baking event that's happening now. I'm just talking about what I would hypothetically do if this ever happened to me while I was baking. I could be giving advice to someone who's asking, "Oh, if I ran out of butter, I'd just use oil." You won't notice the difference. If she finds a dog on the street, she'll adopt it. She loves dogs, right? She has plans to adopt a dog. In fact, she's looking for a dog, and there are lots of street dogs in her area. So it's quite likely that if she finds a dog on the street that doesn't have a home, it's quite likely that she'll adopt it. If she found a dog on the street, she'd adopt it. So again, she loves dogs. Perhaps there's actually not many street dogs in her area, which makes the outcome quite unlikely, right?
The professor on the video is repeating several times this word, unlikely, which means the possibility of occurrence is super low. When that happens, when you try to express an idea like that something it's extremely difficult to occur, then you're going to use the second conditional, okay? And that's why she's putting, as I told you, the video is a comparison of the conditionals number 1 and number 2, the first and second. So if she finds a dog on the street, she'll adopt it. Then for you, the possibility of finding a dog on the street is high, yeah? But maybe a place where you don't observe so many dogs on the streets, then what's going to happen is the second one.
If she were taller, she would play basketball. Okay, so this is the second conditional, right? And she's imagining what she would do if she had been born taller. But she wasn't, right? She can't change her height. So this situation has to be unreal. So for that reason, be careful, because we can't write a version of this in the first conditional. There isn't a likely chance or a likely outcome where this would happen, right? She can't change the way that she is. However, we can make a couple of changes to make it possible. We can say, you know, if we're talking about a child who is still growing, then it's possible, right? But we might have to change the verb and say, if she grows taller, she will play basketball. It's really important to keep in mind that many ideas can be expressed in the first or the second conditional, depending on whether they're real or imaginary. But not all ideas can be expressed in both tenses, right? So be careful about that. Real versus imaginary. Hopefully you're starting to feel pretty good about the difference between the first and the second conditional, right? But I've got one extra thing that I want you to keep in mind. So take a look at this sentence here. Is it a conditional sentence? It has two clauses. It has a present tense verb in the first clause. It has will and the base verb in the main clause, but it doesn't have the word if. It actually doesn't matter. This sentence is still a conditional sentence, a first conditional sentence. And there are a couple of very specific words that you can use to replace if in the first and also the second conditional sentence structure. It's still a conditional sentence, but the word that you choose, of course, has the ability to change the meaning of your sentence slightly. Unless it rains soon, the lake will dry up. Or, if it rains soon, the lake won't dry up. Both of these sentences are okay, they're great, but of course, the change affects the meaning of our sentence slightly. So we need to be aware of that. So you can definitely replace if with the word unless, but the meaning is slightly different. It means if not, or except if. And you can use unless in the first and the second conditional sentence structure. But it can't be used to talk about past situations that can't be changed, right? So you can't use unless in the third conditional sentence structure, for example. Check out some examples. Unless she apologizes, I will not forgive her. Unless it gets below 0 degrees, the water won't freeze.
So there you sort of, the professor is giving the recommendation of actually this word unless, using it for the first condition, right? The structure they incorporated unless is the first conditional structure.
Unless they fired me, I wouldn't leave the company. Besides unless and if, we can also use as long as, which is really, really useful if you want to set a limit or a condition on the expression. So this is like saying if and only if the condition happens. So if the condition doesn't happen, then the result is not possible or it's not allowed. As long as is usually used with the first conditional because it's used when the result is expected. As long as I get time off work, I'll come for a visit. As long as it's not too crowded, we'll stay for dinner. As long as he finishes his homework, he'll join you at the skate park. Great work, we're almost done. We've got one more option to replace if with, and that is using supposing.
That one we haven't covered. So as a complement for the part of the grammar and the second conditional, what we have is this part. Yep, there you can observe as well the structure that it was already presented on the video, right? If, past simple, and would, wouldn't, and infinitive. If I had a job, I'd, that is the contraction. I apostrophe D. Apostrophe D is the contraction of would. In this case, I'd. Yep. If David spoke good English, he could get a job. There you see one word that we can also use in this structure. Not only would, but could as well. Yep. Could be negative, and we can change the position of the clauses. So not always begin with if. I will get on better with my parents if I didn't live with them. Like we use the past simple, what we are going to use for the negative, didn't. Yeah. The presentation or the use that is in here, we use the second conditional to talk about a hypothetical, imaginary, present, or future situation and its consequence. Hypothetical, imaginary. Yeah, there is what you're going to use it for. Let's take a look with that introduction little by little and obviously working together. Let's see what we get. So in Unit 7V, we start with the following. Yep. 1B, sorry. Read the article. How many of the people would like to leave home? Let me see if we have it here. There you go. Let's see if that one is. I preview my quiz. I start my attempt. And this is the one they refer to. Let me see it in here. Just for me to see it in a full motion. So this is the one that they refer to, right? These four youngsters. We got Vivian, Montreal, Canada. If I had the money, I will move out. There you have. What they are highlighting are the examples of the second conditional. Yep. If I had the money, I will move out. Vivian does not have the money at the moment, so hypothetically, the moment in the future that she got the money, will move out immediately. All I want is somewhere that's my own, where I can do what I want, where I can have my own furniture and pictures, where no one can tell me what to do. If it was my place, I'd remember that contraction. Apostrophe D is the contraction for would. Yeah, I'd be happy to do the cleaning. If it was my place. And things like that. I will look after it. But at the moment, it's just a dream. Because I can't find a job. With Monica, we have from Naples, Italy. I'm perfectly happy living at home. If I lived on my own, I'd have to pay rent. So this one is the opposite, right? Monica prefers to live at home when they refer at home with their parents, maybe with the family. So if I lived on my own, I'd have to pay rent. Hypothetical situation. Do the housework and the cooking. Here, my mother does my washing. Wow, she cleans my room. And of course, she cooks. And her food is wonderful. I have a nice room. I have my computer where I can watch TV. Why would I want to live? Even if I could afford it, I wouldn't move out. Yep. Then you have Andrew. It isn't that my parents aren't good to me. They are. If they weren't, I wouldn't live with them. But I just don't feel independent. I'm 29, but I sometimes worry that if I come back very late after a night out, I'll find them still awake waiting out for me. It's never happened, but it still makes me want to move out. And finally, we got Carlos, Valencia, Spain. I'd love to move out. I get on well with my parents, but I think I'd get on with them even better if I didn't live at home. My mother drives me mad. It isn't her fault, but she does. And I'd really like to have a dog, but my mother is allergic to them. So here you have four youngsters, young adults, that actually they are giving reasons to stay with the family, living with the family, or actually to move out. And in that process, they are using the second conditional structure. Yep, the parts that are highlighted are examples of the second conditional. That's what I get in here. Read the article. How many of the people would like to leave home? So there you have the options. The question is, how many of the people would like to leave, to move away, right? To go out, to leave home. Okay, with that, I go to your results. Let's start on this one. And I give to you this part so we can have the article as well. There we have the first two. And if you need, I just scroll down a little bit. Yep. So starting now, please, let's work on the activity. Okay, that's it. That's the time for this activity. Let's continue. So let's take a look at 1C. Read the article, who. So let me open mine just to take a look what it's about. Let me see what article they refer to. Okay, they refer to the same for young adults and the situation, right, about living in or moving out. And you got the names now, Marco, Carlos, Andrea, and David. And according to that, you have, is not happy living at home because of family conflict. Number 2, think his or her parents think of him or her as still being a teenager. 3, thinks that the advantage of living at home is not having to do any work. 4, would like to be able to decorate his or her home in his or her own taste. So according to the information, you just drag the names, right, to the right spot, okay? Starting now, we got 10 minutes for this activity. Perfect. That's the time that we get for the activity. Let's continue. So we finished on 1C. Yep. Let's see what else we got. Remember that we started on a section related to grammar, and the second conditional is the structure that we are revising in here. Yep. So we got 1C, the one that we just worked on. And now let's take a look at activity 1D. Look at the article and answer the question. So let me see it. I preview my quiz, start my attempt, and let's take a look in here. Oh, okay, the same information you already been through. And now what we have, what tense is the other verb? The phrases refer to. In the highlighted phrases, what tense is the verb after if? And then you have a menu where you have the several options from which one you can choose from. Remember, look at the article and answer the questions, okay? So starting now, we got the 10 minutes for this activity. We're working on 1D. Okay, enough time for this activity. Let's move on. We just worked on activity 1D. We were finishing up almost on grammar, second conditional. Yep. There you're gonna find on the platform what we went through already. That is the explanation, the grammar bank extract. Examples of the sentences, when to use it, recommendations, and that difference we've made between the use of the first conditional and the second conditional, when to use each one of them. Remember the example also of the video, the professor, when she was sharing with us the same sentence, but using first and second. What it means, that maybe for me, the situation is possible, but for another person is not. So even we are talking about the same situation, one person used first conditional and the other second one. In general, you're gonna use the second one, remember, for hypothetical, imaginary situations. Yeah? Extremely unlikely, which means you have a little possibility that something like that happens. Yep. There you apply the second conditional. The use of the tenses, for the second conditional, the simple past, and on the other we use would. Yeah, but we have seen also here that they are using could. Okay, as we continue through the platform, we get grammar bank 1D, first or second conditional, complete with the correct form of the verb. So let me take a look. And in here, what's going to happen is how you identify the first or the second conditional. You have to pay attention, obviously, to the parts given. If you have present simple, past simple, if you have will, if you have would. Remember, first conditional, will, and present simple. And second conditional, would and past simple. An example, yep, you go like number 1, my kids earlier if they didn't go to bed so late. Yep. And they give to you what to complete with. So you have to decide what to use in here. Okay, like here, I see didn't. That is an indicator. This word, for example, for me, is the key word to see that this sentence is in the second conditional. Yep. So then I go for my kids would get up. Yep. My kids would get up earlier if they didn't go to bed so late. And then we have it. Yep. So like that. Where if you go to university. In this part, you have the key. Again, if you go, you have simple present. If you go. So simple present, first conditional. Okay. First conditional, we use will. So where will you live? Okay, so like that. Identify the conditional first or second, and then we complete the missing parts. Okay. So let's start on it. Starting now, we got our 10 minutes. Okay, after our break, it's time to retake it. So let's see what we get. Yep, this activity, Grammar Bank 1B, the one that we just worked on it. And let's do it. As we continue, what you're gonna find is the pronunciation and speaking on the sentence stress. What is it? Normally, once again, when they refer to sentence stress or the words, for us, it's normal in the sense of obviously our language. Yep. But if you pay attention, listen up when you are speaking, you're gonna find out that you don't speak the same stress, all the words, all the sentences when you're speaking, they are not flat. So you have different intonations according to the information that you are referring to. Okay, so that's what they refer to in this part. So let's listen up in the first one. Yeah, for the pronunciation and speaking stress sentence. So let's go through it.
(4.18) 1.
If I lived on my own, I'd have to pay rent.
2.
Would you leave home if you got a job?
4.18 1.
If I lived on my own, I'd have to pay rent.
2.
Would you leave home if you got a job?
3.
Even if I could afford it, I wouldn't move out.
4.
If it were my flat, I'd be happy to do the cleaning.
5.
I'd get on better with my parents if I didn't live at home.
As you can observe, as a complement, we have the sentences right below. And there are some words that they have a different font, that they are bigger and they are darker. And what you have in there is sometimes the verb and keywords that gives you precise information or the most important information in the whole sentence. So in number 1, if I lived on my own, I'd have to pay rent. Yep. Now, when we listen to these kind of exercises, the audio tracks, they tend to exaggerate a little bit the pronunciation, but it's not like you're gonna be talking in the same way. Comes natural once again, and it's also a matter of practice. Yep. But even though it's our second language, English, what we are going to observe, what we're going to listen to is that as you are practicing, as you are having more speaking activities, that's what we developed. Yeah, that we do not speak flat. Doesn't matter that English is not our first language. Yeah, still then we have these differences on the tone, on the pronunciation, the stress, right? The accent on the words. That's what we are going, or what we refer to. Okay. Then you have a couple of activities for you to practice the second conditional. Choose 3 of the sentence beginnings below and complete them in a way which is true for you. If I could live anywhere in my town or city, I'd live. If I won a dream holiday in a competition, I go. If I could choose any car I liked, I'd have a. If I could choose my ideal job, I'd be. If I had more time, I dreamt. And if I had to go abroad to work, I'll go too. Yep. So this one, we're going to develop, or we're going to work on this one on flip. Let me take a look on it. Oh no, it's must be around here. Okay. So let me create the topic for you. This one we're gonna make it, this is super fast. So it's gonna be tops 45 seconds, but if it's less than that, not a problem. What you have to do is only to answer. Let me put it here in the chat just for all of you. There you have the link for flip. And the one that we refer to is if I. Like that I put it, if I. What refers to? To this part. What you're gonna do is to answer to this ones, right? You're not gonna choose 3. You're gonna answer all of them. So I'm going to read and I'm going to give my answer. If I could live anywhere in my town or city, I will live near Malecón 2000. If I won a dream holiday in a competition, I'll go to Egypt. So like that, we complete all the sentences, yes? This one, it's obviously on flip. Remember that here we have some topics so far. Yeah, you got to introduce yourself, tell me about movies, judge a book by its cover. Yesterday that we work on agree or disagree, and right now that we're gonna work on this one. What is this one? If I, once again, you're gonna complete all these sentences in the second conditional with real information, with real situations about you. Okay, so starting now, the video, it stops 45 seconds, but I think that's gonna take like 20 or 15 if you answer super fast. Yep, but to give you some times, I give you starting now 10 minutes. Yep, to upload the activity. I'm gonna leave there the whole set, and starting now, I'm gonna be quiet so you can record your video peacefully. Starting now, 10 minutes. Okay, time to continue. Let's see what else we get. So just now we worked on, you helped me out making a video about this activity, completing or giving me your answers related to the second conditional sentences, completing ideas. Yep. So that one you have it for it. And then take a look at the vocabulary. We go to the section of vocabulary. For that, the vocabulary in this unit is related to the house. Yep. So an example where people live, and then you have prepositions, right? I live the country, surrounded by fields. I live the outskirts of Oxford, about 5 miles from the center. I live a village, a town, a city. I live in Aldeburgh, a small town, the East Coast. Number 5, I live the second floor. So in this one, they just refer to the prepositions, right? I live in, I live on, I live at, okay? Then also related to houses, the vocabulary is related to that, to houses, living spaces. We have parts of house or block of flats. Flats for the British English is the equivalent to what we have as apartments, right? Apartments. A flat, you have a balcony, you have a basement, and there you have some numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a balcony, basement, entrance, ground floor, and top floor. The ground floor in United Kingdom is the equivalent to say the first floor in American English. Okay, then you have the top floor. Top, we know that is above. From this one, any word that is not clear from the first column, the parts of a flat, yep, balcony, basement, entrance, ground floor, and top floor. Any one that for you is kind of not clear. Perfect. I continue. In the other, to the right, we have a house, right? Chimney, gate, path, roof, steps, terrace, patio, and wall. So, as you can see, what we have is vocabulary to describe parts of, depending where you live. If you live in a block of flats, or if you live in a house, depending on it. Yep. And then, like some sort of example for the description of these spaces. Description number 1. I live in a cottage in the country. It's old and made of stone, and the rooms have very low ceilings. There is an open fire in the living room, and it's very cozy in winter. Yep. Cozy in winter. The first word in there, cottage, is the equivalent to say una cabaña pequeña. Yep. Cottage, just in case. Another one in there, that word cozy. How you translate it? The last word in this set, cozy. That word is actually one that we use similar to comfortable, but cozy will be more like acogedora. Yeah, when a place is like that. Tu casa es muy acogedora, cozy. Okay. The other description box that you have in here, to the right, I live in a modern flat in the city center. It's spacious and very light, with wooden floors and big windows. Wooden floors, pisos de madera, wooden floors. Yep. Chimney or fireplace. And finally, the box that we have by the bottom, chimney or fireplace. In English, chimney only refers to the structure on the roof. Fireplace is the place when you burn wood or coal. Yep. Chimney. Roof or ceiling. Roof is the top part of a house. Ceiling is the top part of a room. Yeah. So you're inside your room, you point up to the roof, right? But that one refers to the whole house. In that case, ceiling will be only for your room. You're in your room, you want to say ceiling. But roof is the whole structure, yeah, for the whole house. So the activities related to vocabulary are based on this, okay? Describing a house, describing a flat, the parts of a house, and in some space, maybe we will find is prepositions, okay? So let's take a look. We're gonna start on the section number 3, that is vocabulary. And we refer as further to vocabulary bank 1A. Complete the preposition. So let's take a look. I open my attempt. And we have 2 options, in and on. Complete the preposition. I leave the country. So you say, I live on the country or I live in the country.
In.
Okay, so I drag your option and I put it here. What about the other? In the second one, we have a word, yes, that is I live a space outskirts. Outskirts. Surrounded of Oxford, outskirts. Outskirts is las afueras, but you use that expression when you talk about maybe a city. Yeah. So I leave the outskirts. How you complement that one? What sounds better? You live in the outskirts or you live on the outskirts? What sounds better for you? Remember, this one is my attempt, so no problem.
In.
On.
On.
So we have 1 for in, 2 for on. For democracy, I'm gonna put here on. But then I'm gonna check, right? So no problem. I live on a village or I live in a village.
In. In.
Thank you. 4, I live in Alderburgh, a small town in the East Coast or on the East Coast.
In.
Okay. 5, I live the second floor of a large block of flats. So I live in the second floor or I live on the second floor.
On.
On.
Okay. And number 6, I live in Croydon or on Croydon, a suburb of London.
In. In.
Okay, thank you so much. Following your recommendations, you are responsible for the following grade that I get. Let's see where we got it. This one, right? So from there, from the practice, we get the lesson, right? So what is it? Every time that they refer here to the coast, the correct preposition in English is on. Yeah, could be the west, the east, the north, the south, but this word, coast, we use it on. The prepositions normally it's at certain moments when we are learning English, it's kind of difficult to understand. Why? Because we have a magic preposition in Spanish, en. So you go like, vivo en el campo, vivo en Salinas, estoy en la playa. So that is our beautiful preposition. But in English, you have, for the moment, these 2. We have some more. Yep. So please take a look at the options we selected. I'm gonna keep it there for 1 minute, and then I go to your results, okay? Okay, let me observe your results. And also, when you got it, appears the confirmation, right? The audio. Let's listen up to the audio one time.
4.19. Houses. Where people live. 1,
I live in the country, surrounded by fields.
2,
I live on the outskirts of Oxford, about 5 miles from the centre.
3,
I live in a village.
4,
I live in Aldborough, a small town on the east coast.
5,
I live on the second floor of a large block of flats.
6,
I live in Croydon, a suburb of London, about 10 miles from the city centre.
There you have your audio as a confirmation. And let me see your results. I got 8. The magic number so far will be 9. Yep. Just help me out with that. Just 2 more minutes and we continue. Waiting for our classmates. Okay, time to continue. So let's go back to the main page of the platform and let's take a look. Yep, we just worked on the vocabulary bank 1A, complete the preposition. So let's take a look at vocabulary bank 2A. Match the words and the pictures. I preview my quiz, I start my attempt. And there you have it, right? So for the first set, balcony, what number you select?
2.
Okay, that's the one that I drag, balcony. For basement,
5.
okay. Which number is for entrance?
3.
3, okay. Ground floor,
4.
and top floor,
1.
there you have the first part. Yep, according to your recommendations, balcony, basement, entrance, ground floor, top floor. And then the other, you completed by yourself. You got chimney, gate, path, roof, steps, terrace, patio, and wall. Starting now, 10 minutes. Okay, that's the time for this activity. Let's continue. Going back. We're in the section of vocabulary. We just finished vocabulary 2A. Match the words and pictures. Then this one for you to practice at home that is related. What's the difference between the outskirts and the suburbs, a village and a town, a roof and a ceiling, balcony and a terrace, chimney and a fireplace, the ground floor and the first floor, wood and wouldn't. Yep. This activity in particular, you're gonna answer in one, you're gonna create one document, Google Doc, to answer these 7. Remember that we have, let me pass to you. We have a folder when you get your, when you get some activities. So far, let me open for you and give you the look. Yep. What I refer to is the following. Obviously, you're gonna remember. We got these drive folder that you created. Yep. To have some activities. In here, just let me open one. What we have so far is the time that we work on the workbook of Unit 6A. Yep. So here on your folders, that is the one that you're gonna create Google Doc document to help me out with the answers to this. So from 1 to 7, it's a line for each one of that one, right? You're gonna investigate, of course, but the answer a line. I don't want like the whole story. I don't want paragraph. No. For each one of them, 1 line and that's it. Okay, 2 lines, perfect. But I don't want you to copy and paste paragraph or pages. No. Okay. So create a Google Doc on your Drive folder. Yes. We put it, answer the questions. Obviously not with a partner. We're gonna make it individual. And then you give me the answer to each one of them. What is it? Number 1, all related to what's the difference, right? What's the difference between number 1, the outskirts and the suburbs? Number 2, a village and a town. Number 3, a roof and a ceiling. Number 4, balcony and a terrace. 5, chimney, a fireplace. 6, the ground floor and the first floor. And 7, wood and wouldn't. Okay. Questions about the activity? Okay, like you got to research a little. Remember, your answer does not need to be extensive. 1 line for each answer. So let's go for 15 minutes. Yep. It's starting now. Once again, the activity, you're gonna create it here on your folders, your Drive folders. So you access there, and then you create a Google Doc. Okay. Confirm if you can access to your folder. You find it. Just in case in the chat, I include the link. Tell me if it's working for you. Sorry, if it's working for you, that link. So you can get to this part, to your folders. And once you're in the folder, create the Google Doc document, and you're gonna answer the following. So starting now, we get 15 minutes for the activity. Anyone, could you confirm that you could access to your folder? Okay, time to continue on the activities. let's get to, we're getting to the final parts. And we're getting to section 4, that is reading. And we're gonna work on section 4. We have activities for B and for E. Okay. Obviously, I'm gonna make it visible for you so you can actually work on it because they appear as close as you can see at the projection. But what is it is look at the photos of Tchaikovsky House. Which do you think shows? Yeah, but let's get here to there. They refer to these parts. Yep. Look at the photos. Which do you think shows? The place where he composed, the place where he wrote letters, and his favorite place. And you have these options. Yep. 1, 2, and 3, like here. So they refer similar to the sport. Let me see. First, let me open it for you. And let's take a look. So I preview my quiz, I start my attempt, and it's there. Yep. According to the pictures you have in here, 1, 2, and 3, you're gonna tell the place where he composed, the place where he wrote letters, and his favorite place. Yep, according to that information that I shared to you in this form. Okay, so starting now, let's take a look. Starting now, we got the 10 minutes to work on this activity. Only to select 1, 2, or 3, okay? Let's work on it. 10 minutes is starting now. Okay, time to continue. Let's move on this section. Going back to the main page. We're in the section of reading, section number 4. We just worked on 4B. Let me take a look at 4E. Yep. And 4E, first, let me open it for you. And then let me work on my attempt. Yep. So what we get in here, the highlighted words. Yeah, but the highlighted words are you have here the labels and here are the meanings, right? So for example, if I want to say in good order, which one would you select? Stay or continue? Yeah. So let's see. Help me out with some ideas. In good order, which word would you use for? In good order. Which one would you take into consideration? Take a look at the options we have. Hanging, turn into, overlooking, tidy, remain, plain, bookcase, and property. Yep. If I go and I want to describe something in good order.
Tidy.
Okay, I follow your recommendation. And I place tidy in there. To stay or continue, which one will be one good for it? To stay. Do not change, do not move, stay at one place.
Remain.
Good, so I follow up, remain. Then we have having a view of. Having a view of. Remember, this is my attempt, so we can have some hints on it, right? We are working on the third, that is having a view of.
Overlooking.
Okay, let's try that one. Overlooking, fixed to a wall with a cord. Fixed to a wall with a cord. So you have a cord and that thing is fixed to the wall. We are working on
Hanging.
number 4. Good option. Yeah, let's see.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's okay, no worries. Make something become. Make something become. So she become 22. Another form to say that.
Turn into.
Turn into, very good. So let's take a look, turn into. Without a pattern or decoration. Without a pattern or decoration. Without a pattern or decoration. How would you describe something that is not decorated? It has no color, nothing. What word of the remaining one sounds like we can apply it under these conditions? No decoration, no color,
Plain.
nothing. Okay, good, good option. Let's take a look. So I placed plain in there. 7, something that is owned by someone. What do you,
Property.
property, very good. And we leave for the last a piece of furniture with shelves to keep books. Where you exactly right. Where you put your books, bookcase. Now with our cooperative work, let's take a look at my attempt. Good work. We got it. So there you have it. When I want to describe something that is in good order, that is organized, you have now another synonym that is tidy. Yep. Stay or continue, remain. Please stay at home. Please remain at home. Having a view of, yeah, I'm overlooking the yard. Hanging, fix to a wall with a cord. There is a mirror hanging on the wall. There is a picture hanging on the wall. Turn into, make someone become. So in that case, she turned into 21. Okay. Plain, once again, plain is when something is extremely simple. No, in this case for the house, no, imagine a room, no color, no decoration, nothing. So that room is plain. Yep. Very, very simple. Property, something that you own. Maybe right now you have your house, or in the future you're going to have your house. That is your property. Yeah. Your family has a farm. That is a property. Okay. And the bookcase is like, I don't know if many people have them now in the house, but bookcase is a place, a furniture with shelves where you put actually lots of books. Yeah. But now we are in a digital time, so bookcases are going out and out of homes as we are passing times. Okay. So there you have the answers. Let me see your results. Thank you. I got 5 attempts. Remember, the magic number from now is 8. So we just wait a couple of minutes for all our classmates to finish, and then we move on. Okay, we move along, go back to the main web page to see what else we got. Yep, we just worked on activity 4E, section 4, reading. Yep, now we got listening and speaking section. Listen to 4 American architecture students describing their dream house, which speaker's house is. Okay, so let me open it for you. I preview my quiz, I start my attempt, and then you have the track. And we are going to select among 4 architecture students, right? Describing their dream house. So let's listen up.
4.23. 1.
My dream house would be in one of our national parks like Yellowstone or Redwood. It would be totally green. I'd have solar panels and wind turbines, and I'd collect rainwater. The house would be made of wood and would be heated by wood fires. I would try to live off the land as much as possible, and I'd plant vegetables and fruit and maybe have chickens. It would all be organic with no pesticides or anything like that.
With that super description, obviously they are referring to which one? Which type? High tech?
Eco-friendly.
Exactly. So that will be for us, number 1. They are describing green, organic, animals, right? Eco-friendly. Let's continue. Let's find out information for the second one.
2.
My dream house would be in Paris. It'd be on the top floor of an old apartment building, and I'd have a view of the Eiffel Tower or Notre Dame. It will be full of furniture that I'd found in antiques markets, places like that, and amazing paintings, one of which would turn out to be an undiscovered Picasso or Matisse. There would be a beautiful old dining table and chairs for candlelit dinners. Then all I'd need would be the right person to share it with.
The description is closer to what?
The most romantic.
Okay, let's follow that one. The most romantic. Let's continue. Number 3.
3.
My dream house would be a flat in Soho in New York. It wouldn't be too big. It'd just have a couple of bedrooms and a huge living room with a home cinema. It would be very modern and incredibly practical, with things like automatic temperature control, a kitchen with all the latest gadgets, if possible, a stove that would produce amazing meals on its own. I'm a lazy kind of guy.
All description of the gadget and everything modern belongs to
High tech.
high tech. Exactly. So high tech, high from technology, right? The short version of the word. So you go like high tech. And just to confirm, let's listen to number 4.
4.
If I had to choose where to live, I'd choose Hawaii. So my dream house would be made of glass with the most amazing view of the beach from every room in the house. And it'd have indoor and outdoor pools. And maybe a tennis court. I'm quite sporty. It would also have a big indoor aquarium. There's something so peaceful about looking at fish. And fabulous bathrooms, of course.
Okay, with that information, I place in there number 4, and let's take a look. We got it. Thank you so much. So the order 3, 4, 1, 2. Yep. The first one that they described belonged to the eco-friendly. The second one was the most romantic, about Paris. Yes, and all furniture. The third one was the high-tech. And the last one referred to most luxurious. Luxurious, lujoso. Yeah. So the order 3, 4, 1, 2. Let's take a look at your results. I got 5 attempts. My magic number so far for the number of students in here, it's around 7. Thank you to the ones already working on it. We're gonna wait just a minute on it. Perfect. So with that one, we're gonna stop for today. I'm gonna stop sharing my. Remember, please, as long as you have obviously the time available, work on Altisha. Yep. Be careful on that. Do not leave it by the end, because once again, sorry that I have to repeat this. Altisha is based, or is gonna be graded based on the completion percentage. So Manuel Ortega is very slow, and I got like 40 hours, but I don't complete Altisha. I got 20%. Ah, yes, I spent 40 hours. No, it's the percentage. So you have to complete all the activities. Yep. I hope you are always taking care. Have a great week, and I'll see you next weekend. Take care.
Bye, Mr.
Bye, Ms. Palacios. Good week. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Ms. Brooke, good week. Ms. Asuncion, the same.